I would like to call the Wisconsin Rapids Water Works and Lighting Commission meeting to order. First to approve is 2.1, the special commission meeting held on August 9th, 2017. I move to approve. Okay, Rick moved to approve. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Joe second. Any corrections or additions? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 2.2, the regular commission meeting held on August 9th, 2017.
I move to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
Joe made the motion. Rick seconded. And any other additions, corrections? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, action items, 3.1, audit service request for proposal, is that what it is?
It is, yeah. During August, we put out an RFP for audit services. It's been a while since we've done one of those. I believe it was 2010 was the last time it was done, so we just wanted to make sure we were staying competitive and that the increases that Shank has were adequate compared to, other utilities. So we sent it out to 6 firms. We received 4 responses. One of the firms chose not to bid on it. Didn't feel they could be cost competitive. So what you have in front of you is 3 bids. One from Shank, who's our current auditor. One from Clifton Larson Allen, and one from Wagner CPAs.
So was the RFP for a 3-year period?
The audit was for a 3-year period. It was a 1 year with 2 one-year renewals.
How long has Shank been doing our audits?
Shank has been doing them since 2010 fiscal year. So we've been here for 7 years.
I thought maybe longer than that.
Before that was Virgil Kraus, Baker Tilly.
Okay. And so what do we need the motion for?
It would just be to select one of the firms.
To select one of the firms.
I'd move that we select Shank for the audit RFP for 17.
I'll second that. Is there any advantage to switching around every once in a while? If it's set of eyeballs?
It's a different, somebody looking at it a different way maybe. So it's not the worst thing in the world.
Jeff, I have a question. Are we accepting the 3-year for the 44,550, or are we accepting the 1 year?
Yeah, my understanding was for 2017, but that it has, I don't know what you're doing.
It's an optional, it's a 3-year
The option?
RFP, but it's options
The
for
option
18, 19.
Okay.
If the utility decides to execute.
Three years or 1 year?
Yeah, I don't know what needs to be
Yeah.
in the motion.
We have the option to not do 18 if we don't want to with them.
So that's what you would prefer?
What?
Well,
1 year?
It's a 3, the pricing is firm for 3 years, but we don't have to
not obligated.
we're not obligated to do it.
I get it.
But if we do, then the pricing will remain what they.
All right.
Yeah, so my motion was to, accept the bid from Shank.
For the
How about that? To accept the
44,550?
proposal from Shank? Did that be,
Okay.
that'd be for sure.
Okay. And Joe, you second? All right. Any other discussion? If not, all in agreement, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays? All right, department update, safety committee. Any questions, comments? If not, line superintendent's report. How are your animal problems coming up? Is that pretty normal, 5, or is it a little high?
No, that's pretty normal for this time of year, yeah. It kind of goes with the seasons.
And we're still adding the squirrel guards as we go along. And,
Yeah.
They're going for the acorns now, right?
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it is kind of seasonal.
Any other questions, comments? If not, the water department operations report. All right, let's move to the office manager report. I have a question, Joel, you have underneath the disconnections, you have a paragraph talking about that the main takeaway that you see is that the numbers related to collections and connections actively continue to trend up. And you believe that there is a correlation between these numbers rising and the accounts receivable aging numbers dropping. I guess I don't understand what you mean.
Well, the trend up in the calls made and disconnections means that we're simply able to contact more customers that are delinquent. And that has a tendency to get them to pay,
Okay.
which reduces our aging number.
So since you're making a lot of calls and getting in touch with them, we're keeping on track. We're not getting our 90 days. 90 days continue to fall.
They do.
Great. And one other thing, the trip in the SDC, is it about as high as we've ever gotten, 79,000?
It's been trending up the last few years, and more of the activity keeps shifting to SDC because they've got more tools than just intercepting a tax return.
Okay.
SDC can actually garnish wages.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
So they've got more tools. So yeah, that number's been going up.
That's great.
I'd just like to say with Joel and Sarah's presentation on the Smart Hub and approach to social media, I got a lot of good attention at Rotary and a lot of good questions and follow-up, and I think it went very well. So thanks for doing that.
Thanks.
Any other questions, comments? If not, how about the Director of Finance report? Health insurance. What is it looking? Is it looking to go up quite a bit?
Initial projections were, I believe, between 15 and 18% for 2018.
How much?
Between 15 and 18%. We're working with the city. I know they had an HR meeting last night. I got to touch base with Tim on it to see what happened, but we're working at reducing those costs a little bit, and then possibly take another look at health insurance in 2018 and see what can be done differently.
And just for clarity, so the buyback tariff, that's a proposal, so that's sitting with the Public Service Commission right now?
Yeah, there's two buyback tariffs. We have the PGS1 and
Right.
the PGS2, that's what they call them.
Yep.
The PGS2, which is for generation over 20 kW, that one's already set and done,
And that's the
and that's 6.09 cents this current year. To change the PGS1 to go to avoided cost as opposed to the retail rate, that'll have a hearing likely in October.
Anybody have any other questions? If not, Information Systems Administrator.
Oh, I'm sorry, can I go back? Is that allowed or not?
Go back. How far back?
I just want to make a note or point out, I don't have a page number on this, but it's the investment report. If we go back a year ago, we would have been looking at this investment report and seeing a number of these rates at 0.02%. So it's really, I'm glad to see where the rates are. And a lot of that is not by accident, so.
So we switched over to Island.
Yeah, good.
And my guess is like 10 grand a month, something like that.
Well, we're right around there, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, good we did that.
Good change.
sorry.
No, it's all right. We were actually going to agenda that in the next month or two to
Oh,
get
yeah.
a snapshot. But
Yeah.
we caught it early, so.
Well, I'm used to looking at that page and frowning, but I didn't frown.
Okay, now I lost my place where I was.
You're IT, right? IT,
You gotta ask him if he's done frowning. You should be at 4.6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Information Systems Administrator. Any comments, questions? So you're soon to do the video camera update.
Well, we're soon to complete it. So
You're what?
most of the cameras are already installed. They're just
Okay.
not operational yet because we don't have the software installed.
Okay.
So that should be completed this month. In fact, I had a call this afternoon with them to set up the final date for them
Okay.
to bring their techs on site and get that finished up. So by October, I should be ready to give a demo and show you guys how it all works.
Good. And the AMI communications, I take it that's all set, you the testing on that?
Yeah, on Thursday, they got in touch with me and asked what my availability was this week for, to get it set up and tested, the new cellular modem that we just got. But I haven't heard back from them yet, so I gotta get a hold of them and find out what's going on.
And that's pretty much just switching over to cellular communication.
Yeah, removing the radios that we have now, the point-to-point radios, and going with a cellular modem instead. But we need the private network in place first.
Or fiber, yeah.
Yeah, or fiber, either.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, the Conservation Manager report.
So I get a question, but maybe it's more for Jim. It's my understanding that, so with the Viking, on the Viking project, it's my understanding that the state of Wisconsin is one in which there's not clarity on an entity selling power like Viking. And is there any indications on statewide where that might be falling in terms of legislation or a public service commission?
Well, I think they tried to cross that bridge in Middleton and then decided and that there was no PSC rule against it, so it would have to come from the legislature.
Yeah.
So is that where it stands right now? There's no rule against it?
The PSC had a letter, I think back in 2013, 2014 on the Middleton thing where they kind of punted it down the road.
Okay.
And the PSC, when we talked to them specifically on this one, said unless there's a contested case against one of these,
Okay.
it's kind of status quo until
Okay.
they won't react to it. But
Okay.
there's a need to.
Okay. Thank you. And October 5th, the big day?
Yes, that is the annual open house event. It'll be Thursday, October 5th, from 3 to 7. That'll give the utility great insight for the customers to come in to our open house event, see the benefits and special programs we have to offer. Kids always have fun. There's bucket truck rides, filter plant tours, so hopefully we get the same turnout as we did last year, which was great. It was over 400 customers.
You said Tom had fun with the bucket truck ride.
Only rides, man.
I got two.
I can't remember, did that go out in the currents and waves?
There was a,
Okay.
yeah, small caption
Okay.
publicizing.
That's good, that's quite, quite a group of people. It's not quite as big as a baseball game, but, 400 people, I don't know how many people it started with, when
About two.
200.
So it's climbed up in the last
That's good.
couple of years.
That's quite a percentage.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Director of Engineering and Electric Operations report. So did the transfer switch improvement go, or did it take quite a while?
Well, the last day that they came to do the last service work, that went very good, well. But I guess I went after them a little bit because the previous times the service person didn't meet my expectations, but they ended up giving us some of their higher engineering staff that came and they were able to get it working for us rather quickly then, so.
Good.
Yeah, so pretty happy with it now as it sits, but that had been an on and off problem for us for almost a year, so.
Anything else? All right, the general manager report.
All this information about ATC. How much is pertinent?
Well, all of it's pertinent.
To us.
I guess the most pertinent part is that, once they finally get FERC approval, but there's been FERC's been too short two commissioners for so long that they've got a huge backlog, but ultimately will get compensated for leaving basically the part of ATC, the whole they're calling it, that's investing outside the state, their current footprint. So ultimately, we should be getting that payment from them as soon as it's ruled on. But the rest of it was, and then they called last week, and I guess they got fined for under-reporting information to FERC. So I guess those are the two it wasn't that great of a fine, I guess, a couple $100,000, if I recall. And to them, that's not much money, to us it would be, but to them it is not. But that's the most pertinent stuff.
Thank you.
Anything else?
So is, I don't know, from you or other perspectives, is the, and I forget the term for it, the power plant proposal or whatever, is that's still just on the shelf or whatever? It's not being implemented, or-
We met on it the last meeting, and there were a few changes that the board wanted to see in it, so Manitowoc's making those changes, and then we'll probably show it. We have another meeting next Tuesday here in Rapids, so we'll probably give it a blessing at that time. It's for an intermediate resource, basically, some type of generation. See whether it's economical to do, or should we still keep buying stuff on the market and try to do a 20-year analysis of that type of economics.
So it should bring up about, we sent a couple lines in Florida.
We did. They're presently, according to Josh, leaving Kissimmee, Florida later today to head down to Homestead, Florida. So we'll be there as long as needed, and we get compensated back from the utilities that they work for, and then ultimately those utilities will likely get compensated from FEMA too. So they didn't, the electric rates would get out of hand. So doing well, I guess?
Yeah.
That's great. Anything else? If not, could we accounts payable?
On that first page, on accounts payable, 86,616 to the city of the Rat. That must be a lot included in that then?
Yeah, the majority of that's the health and dental for the month. That was about 78,000, and that was some fuel and road base, and then the blow off from the filter plant.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
One more.
Go ahead.
Second page, yeah. 423,125 to the city storm and sanitary sewer reimbursement.
We're we're acting as the billing agent for the sewer utility.
Oh, as the billing agent.
That's the sewer
Okay.
monies that we collected during the month.
You explained that once before. I'm sorry about that.
Not a problem.
And then another question, how many students are we currently supporting through scholarships? I just see you picked up one, but there's probably other ones in the list.
I think there were 4 last year, 4 or 5.
4.
And then 1 this year, so.
So five? Five current? Okay.
Yes. And it kind of depended on when they submitted their request, so we had a couple of each month.
Anybody, anything else? Any other questions? If not,
Yes,
let's motion to adjourn.
yes, it is.
And do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, everybody in agreement? Say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.